Henry Fielding's Joseph Andrews, published in 1742, is a significant work in the development of the English novel. It is a picaresque novel that follows the adventures and misadventures of the titular character, Joseph Andrews, a virtuous young footman. The novel is set in 18th-century England and follows Joseph Andrews, the supposed brother of Pamela, the protagonist of Samuel Richardson's Pamela. Fielding wrote Joseph Andrews partly as a parody of Pamela, shifting the focus to a male protagonist and challenging the sentimentalism of Richardson's work. The novel employs the picaresque tradition, following Joseph through a series of adventures as he journeys home. Joseph Andrews is a handsome and virtuous young man working as a footman for Lady Booby. When her husband dies, Lady Booby attempts to seduce Joseph, but he resists her advances, remaining committed to his moral values. Infuriated by his rejection, Lady Booby dismisses him from her service, forcing Joseph to begin his journey back home to visit his beloved, Fanny Goodwill. Joseph's journey is fraught with hardship. He is attacked by robbers and left injured on the road. Fortunately, Parson Adams, a well-meaning but somewhat naive clergyman, comes to his aid. The two set out together, encountering various characters who embody different facets of society's corruption and virtue. Along the way, they meet dishonest innkeepers, hypocritical clergymen, corrupt magistrates, and selfish landowners. These encounters allow Fielding to satirize the failings of institutions and individuals who claim to uphold morality but act in self-interest. Joseph's love interest, Fanny Goodwill, is a beautiful and innocent young woman. When they reunite, their love is tested by numerous obstacles, including Lady Booby's continued interference and the unwanted advances of other men toward Fanny. The novel takes on a comical yet insightful tone in its depiction of their trials. Near the novel's conclusion, it is revealed that Joseph is actually the legitimate son of Gaffer and Gammer Andrews, making him of noble birth. This revelation solidifies his social status, allowing him to marry Fanny without societal objections. Ultimately, the novel ends on a happy note, reinforcing Fielding's belief that virtue and goodness will prevail. Themes and motifs. Virtue and chastity. One of the central themes of Joseph Andrews is virtue, particularly in relation to chastity. Joseph's refusal to succumb to Lady Booby's advances mirrors the moral stance of his fictional sister, Pamela. However, while Pamela's virtue is tested through endurance, Joseph's is tested through active resistance. His unwavering moral principles highlight Fielding's belief in the inherent strength of virtue. Satire of hypocrisy. Fielding uses satire to expose the hypocrisy of the upper classes, clergy, and judicial system. Characters such as Lady Booby, Parson Trulliber, and various corrupt officials serve as caricatures of those who claim moral superiority while engaging in unethical behavior. Charity and Christian morality. The novel emphasizes the importance of charity and Christian morality. Parson Adams, despite his comic misfortunes, represents genuine Christian charity and kindness. His contrast with the selfish and hypocritical clergy highlights Fielding's call for true religious virtue rather than empty piety. The picaresque tradition. As a picaresque novel, Joseph Andrews follows a wandering protagonist who encounters a series of episodic adventures. This structure allows Fielding to present a panoramic view of society, critiquing its various flaws while maintaining an entertaining narrative. Character analysis. Joseph Andrews. Joseph is an idealized hero whose physical beauty is matched by his moral integrity. His unwavering virtue and steadfastness make him a foil to the corrupt characters he encounters. Despite his good looks and charms, he prioritizes chastity and true love over fleeting pleasures. Parson Adams. Parson Adams is one of the most memorable characters in the novel. A well-meaning, honest clergyman, Adams is both wise and foolish, intelligent in theology but naive in worldly affairs. His constant mishaps provide comic relief while also emphasizing the theme of genuine Christian charity. Lady Booby. Lady Booby represents the moral corruption of the aristocracy. Her desire for Joseph is driven by lust rather than love, and her attempts to manipulate him reflect the imbalance of power between the classes. Fanny Goodwill. Fanny is the embodiment of innocence and virtue. Like Joseph, she remains steadfast despite facing numerous challenges. Her unwavering love for Joseph reinforces the novel's theme of true love triumphing over obstacles. Mr. Slipslop and other minor characters. Various minor characters, such as Mrs. Slipslop, Lady Booby's servant, and Parson Trulliber, a hypocritical clergyman, serve as comedic figures who further Fielding's satirical critique of society. Narrative style and literary techniques. Omniscient narrator and direct address. Fielding employs an omniscient narrator who frequently addresses the reader, offering commentary and digressions. This technique creates an engaging and conversational tone, making the novel feel like a blend of storytelling and social critique. Irony and humor. The novel is rich in irony, particularly in its portrayal of hypocritical characters. Fielding's humor, both subtle and overt, enhances the satirical nature of the work. Realism and social commentary. Unlike earlier romanticized narratives, Joseph Andrews presents a more realistic depiction of 18th-century England. The detailed descriptions of social hierarchies, rural life, and the legal system provide valuable insights into the era's social fabric. Reception and influence. Joseph Andrews was well received upon publication and remains an important work in the history of the novel. It influenced later writers, including Charles Dickens and William Makepeace Thackeray, who adopted Fielding's blend of realism and humor. Critics have examined the novel through various lenses, including moral philosophy, Fielding's emphasis on virtue as an intrinsic rather than imposed quality, feminist readings, the role of gender in the portrayal of virtue and chastity, post-colonial interpretations, the class and power dynamics embedded in Fielding's satire. Joseph Andrews is a pioneering work in English literature, blending humor, satire, and moral philosophy into a compelling narrative. Fielding's exploration of virtue, hypocrisy, and social structures provides a timeless critique of human nature. Through the adventures of Joseph and Parson Adams, the novel presents an entertaining yet insightful examination of 18th-century society.